Hi friends, welcome on board for another project. Let me show you what I did for this video. This is a non-isolated switching power supply. Here is the AC input, universal in the range of 85 to 250, and here is the DC output. The voltage is somewhere between 8 to 8.5 and it can deliver up to 100 milliamps. Of course you can get up to 500 milliamps from this design. I will explain more in the next steps, but 100 milliamps was enough for my application. There is a difference between this design and similar ones, and that is I used a single diode for rectification at the input, so the ground of the circuit is connected directly to the AC input. This is fine technically, but you should not use this board to power your Arduino, and this is not designed for the beginners to play with. But in some applications, such as this AC energy measurement circuit, which I will explain probably in the next month, we have to use this AC referenced power supplies because the energy measurement chip, this one, directly monitors the AC input voltage, current, and power. And for such a chip, the supply should be AC reference. So I will mount this like this for this board. Okay? So that is one of the use case of such a power supply. So if you have such application, just build this power supply and have fun. Let me show you the back side. You can see the clearance. This is ground, of course. This plane is ground, and you can see the clearance and this isolation gap or creepage area at the input. And finally, you might say why we don't use capacitor-based supply. There are two disadvantages for the capacitor-based supply. First, they are not efficient. You cannot get more than 20 or 30 milliamps from a capacitor-based supply. Otherwise, the capacitor should be very big. And second, they don't work for the universal AC input. So if you don't know the target AC voltage, it's better that you use a switching-based supply like this. Because if your hardware is going to sell in the US, some part of the US works on low AC voltage, 110, or if your device is going to work in the Europe or Asia. Most of the time they use 220 volts AC. And this variation in the AC input makes your design unreliable, capacitor-based design I mean. So that's a big reason that you should use switching design like this. So anyway, I think it's enough for an introduction. Let's go to the schematic and PCB section. Alright, this is Altium developed software. This document is the schematic diagram, and this one is the PCB layout. And here is the 3D view of the PCB board. There we go. But you might ask, what's the benefit of this Altium develop? What's the catch? What's in it for me? Altium Develop offers many features, but one stands out. It makes teamwork easy, especially on complex PCB projects. Imagine you are on a team where one person works on power supply, another designs digital circuits, someone else handles RF parts such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, LoRa, and another team member creates component libraries and prepares the bill of materials. If you rely on traditional methods such as email, shared folders, screenshots, and PDFs, things get messy. You end up with a bunch of schematic and PCB files, misunderstandings, and frustration. This will delay your project, stress the team members, and affect the company's revenue and reputation. The difference is obvious, so I won't explain more. Follow this link in the YouTube video description, sign up on the Altium website, and test it with your 1 month free legal license. With that sign up, you can also download the project files from this link. Alright, let's come back to the schematic and explain it. This is a typical high voltage buck converter design, and at the input I used a single phase rectifier circuit using a single diode, of course, not using two diodes or even a bridge rectifier. So why? Because in some circuits and applications the ground of the circuit must be AC or mains referenced, such as that circuit, that AC energy measurement circuit I showed you in the introduction step. For that circuit and similar, the ground must be AC referenced. So to reduce the ripple, I suggest you using a strong pi filter like this, using these two 15 microfarad capacitor and this 1 millihenry inductor. The next question you might ask is why I didn't include a varistor, a fuse, and some X2 rated capacitors at the input. The answer is I have included those components in my main board, so you have to include those components also in your own design and use this power supply as a module on your main board. This is the application and professional use of this power supply as a module. So anyway, the high voltage DC line comes through here and goes to the drain pin of this controller. As I mentioned, this is a high voltage buck converter design. This design follows the demo board of the manufacturer, and you can use a calculator to calculate your desired output voltage, current, and ripple. I will explain that in the next step, but before I go to the PCB, this diode is pretty important. This diode is a very fast diode type. The reverse recovery time is at least 35 nanoseconds, so be careful about this D3. So the rest is pretty obvious. Some ordinary passive components, these capacitors for noise reduction, and this R4 is a dummy load to stabilize the output. So nothing very much remains here. Let's go to the PCB. So the PCB is also simple, a two-layer PCB. Here is the AC input, goes through this diode. This is the pi filter, the controller, and I placed this fast diode and this inductor as close as possible to the controller. So you know the reason. I have explained many times in the similar circuits, and you can see the grounding on the top and bottom. So if I enable the single layer mode, so this is the bottom layer or ground on the bottom layer, and you can see the clearance in the high voltage areas, and here is the grounding on the top. For the same reason, I use these multiple vias. I place these vias in critical areas for the same reason, to reduce the length and impedance of the ground path. And you know the benefits. I don't explain again. There are three pin headers to make a firm connection between your power supply module and your main board. So 3 pins is enough because this power supply is not heavy, it's pretty small and light. So I think everything is pretty clear, isn't it? So let's go to the next step. I will explain the calculator. Alright, this is the calculator or the Excel file that is provided by the manufacturer for this buck converter controller. AL17150, and this is the sample circuit. You can easily modify the circuit values, these green boxes, for example, the minimum and maximum AC voltage, input AC voltage, rated output voltage and current. These are my values. Rated efficiency around 80%. And you have to make sure all of these three pink values, pink messages are okay in your circuit. So if you calculate for other output voltages and currents, you have to make sure all of these pink messages are okay the same as me. You can download this calculator along with design files, so just follow this link in the YouTube video description, sign up on the Altium website, and then follow this link and download everything. I think calculator is pretty easy. If you have any question, just let me know in the comment section. Let's go to the testing section. Alright, welcome to the test bench. This is the power supply on the test. The AC input to the power supply is connected to the output of this variable transformer or variac, and we provide the input voltage to the power supply from 85 to 250 using this variac. The DC output of the power supply is connected to this DC load that applies 100 milliamps to the power supply, and this is the output. This is the output voltage, and we will monitor and keep eyes on the output voltage and increase the AC input, and we will see if the output voltage remains stable within the range. I should mention that the AC input to the variac is fed through an isolation transformer because this power supply is not isolated. So at the moment the output voltage is 8.18. Let's increase this to 250. And there we go. The output voltage only dropped around 10 millivolts, which actually might be just some noise. So this is pretty acceptable for such a power supply, and you cannot get such a performance using a capacitor-based supply. That's why people use such chips and circuits in the industry, and they know they have options such as capacitor-based supply. Otherwise, everyone looks for cheap solutions. So that's it. I hope you liked this video. I will use this power supply in that AC energy measurement circuit, and you can use this for your similar circuits. Don't forget to share and subscribe. We will do something else in the next video.